around, don't disregard it. Sweep you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started, it's the hardest. Talk around, don't disregard it. Sweep you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. Yeah,
get your boots ready. We're about to go on a trip where we wrestle, nobody settling or calling it quits. You're here for the grit, betcha this stuff is amazing. You're stumbling, welcome to the bump in the apron. Step into it, the hardest part of the ring. Here to bring fun, yeah, and this art he is king. It's the best thing, making sure you don't tap out. Don't go soft with the hardest podcast out. And it's not just another one, it's clear. Off the rest, in this content, none contest. Take the nonsense off the steps. You know it's nothing but pure gems when it's coming off the chest. Get it? Now it's time to sit and relax. Get your mind blown away, ain't no skipping this track. Have you paying more attention, no listening gap. Get everything I ever wanted, no giving it back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I'm your host, the hardest part of the ring. We got some Ring of Honor for you today. Ring of Honor 1 year anniversary from 2003. Whew, how time has flown. Already a year into Ring of Honor, and what a journey it has been, and what perfect timing for this show. Honestly, I mean, we are, as of recording this, fresh off the heels, about a week after Tony Khan has announced that he now owns Ring of Honor. So, very, very interesting. I'm very curious as to what that means, given how the whole thing with Impact kind of played out. I'm a little hesitant to get excited, but I mean, it is what I mean. Where was Ring of Honor before? They were kind of, well, not dead and buried, but they were definitely fading away. So anything to keep Ring of Honor in the zeitgeist of pro wrestling is okay by me. So I mean, is Ring of Honor is it going to be a like a developmental territory? Is it going to be the NXT to AEW? Is it going to be just a separate thing? Is it going to be is Tony Khan just going to strip it for parts? I mean, is he just buying the library, and is he going to use the titles? Is what's going to happen? So who knows? But all I know is I just need a Hit Squad versus Young Bucks match. That's all I need. That's all I ask for. I am just a boy, and that's all I need. But what we're here to talk about, 1 year anniversary, 2003. The show is headlined by a 10-on-7 Scramble match. That is correct. 17 people in one match. I'll let you guess how that went. And all right, have you guessed? Okay. You're correct. It was a fucking train wreck. But honestly, it wasn't as much of a train wreck as I thought of. I was expecting like the train just goes off the rails and off a cliff and through a Mexican restaurant down on the ground. You know, that's what I was picturing. But it was kind of just it kind of went off the rails a little bit and hit a tree. What? But anyways, that is what is headlining the show. We also got some really, really great shit outside of that. Daniel, we're how many months after that? I'm still calling him Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson versus Samoa Joe happens on this show. A rematch from the previous show, and spoiler alert, it's a fucking banger. We got an amazing triple threat to crown the number one contender for the ROH title between Paul London, Low Ki, and AJ Styles. I mean, legitimately might be my favorite match I've watched so far in Ring of Honor. Just an amazing stuff. The ROH title gets defended on the show as well. We get another rematch between the Briscoe brothers. That's right, Mark versus Jay. Mark is finally 18, so now he can be more than just the the guy that yells at Jay from ringside. No, we get another match between Mark and Jay. And again, just incredible stuff. But we get a lot into it. There's a lot to get into with that. And we also get a Riot. Allegedly. But I've heard, apparently it's like an infamous thing. This riot that happened on this show with fans jumping the barricade. And me and my guest and delve into this and why we think it's a work. I mean, why we know it's a work and what tipped us off to that. But regardless, it was kind of cool, but we'll get into it. But yes, lots happening on this show. And if you like this type of stuff, maybe, hey, were you confused when CM Punk came out to his old school Ring of Honor AFI music? Were you confused when CM Punk came out in shorts? Well, maybe you need to brush up on your history of Ring of Honor. And if that's the case, I got you. Go to apronbump.com, hit the episodes tab at the top, select ROH, and that'll bring you to all of my Ring of Honor episodes that I've done thus far. And from the very beginning all the way up to now, 1 year later. So check that out. Hey, check out, by the way, while you're at apronbump.com, as I'm plugging my asshole over here, check out these little shirt gimmicks, huh? Boom. The Apron Bump. That's my podcast. And that's what you're listening to. But yeah, I have a lot of ideas for designs, so keep an eye out for that. But got the logo up there, so apronbump.com. Go to the store tab at the top, and that'll bring you to What a Maneuver, which is where the shirt is created. So check that out. Why don't you? Lots of stuff up there: sweatshirts, reusable condoms, all of it. So go check it out. Rate, review the pod. I'm so bad at like plugging my shit. Why don't you give your old boy Hard a 5-star review, huh? Well, just hit the review, say, hey, this guy sucks, asshole, but give me 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? So, God, now everybody's gonna fucking do that. But anyways, we got a fun one here, and no better guest to join me on this Ring of Honor recap than Charlie from the GetCho Podcast. Follow Charlie on Twitter at CharlieBeBad. Follow the GetCho Podcast at GetCho Podcast on Twitter. All their info in the description. A great podcast. Always an entertaining time. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to about wrestling, just general wrestling talk. They do fun segments. They make wrestling fun, which is few and far between nowadays. But go check out the GetCho Podcast. Check out Charlie and all that shit. Yeah, let's just get right into it, man. Ring of Honor 1 year anniversary with myself and Charlie from the GetCho Podcast.
The one male in the ring with the biggest boobs is the one who was under the ring the whole fucking time.
I feel like Otis doesn't really have tits because he's like all girth, so it's like a ball. You know what I mean?
Still bigger. But anyway.
Thoughts?
No. And Vince didn't pay for them. You know, they're not too weirdly far apart, you know. Yes.
Are they not? Oh, like Kofi Kingston or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck happened there? Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. His right tit's like, you know, trying to separate from his left tits. Like weird.
Yeah. Probably got too many Samoa Joe chops to the chest. Speaking of that.
Oh, I don't get it.
Okay, well. So, actually, here's the perfect way we can start this episode.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. And we'll cut this out later, right? I'll be like, hey, Charlie, what'd you think of the show? And then you'll say it was good, and then you'll ask me what I thought of the show. And then I'll give you the punchline, right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Yeah, so, Charlie, yeah, what'd you think of ROH 1 year anniversary 2003?
You know what? It was better than I expected. I don't know. It was just pretty good. It was pretty good. I can't fault it too much. But man, how about you?
Well, I thought it was a riot.
Oh fuck.
It was. Did you hear me? I said I thought it was a riot.
Loud and clear, actually. Yes, sir.
Unfortunately so.
Oh man, I don't know what to say about that. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've said this in a previous episode, but like, that shit gave me the worst fucking like headache.
Dude,
I couldn't watch it.
There were so many issues with it, and we'll definitely get into the
Okay,
details of it
good,
when we
good.
get to it. But don't worry, we're gonna dive dick first into that. But
Oh, just like that main event.
oh god, dude. So I watched this show. This is like a long fucking show, by
Fuck
the way.
that main event. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was because it's the 1 year anniversary, so they're obviously making it a big deal. They're out of the Murphy Rec Center, which thank God. It felt like I did love like the aesthetics.
Oh yeah.
Of the it was like kind of like a mini Hammerstein ballroom kind of deal with the balconies and stuff. But
Remind me of some classic ECW stuff because ECW used to run
Yeah.
out there. Oh my god.
Oh,
So
yeah, for
it was
sure.
so cool. But go ahead.
yeah, but yeah. I mean, I watched the show in pieces like throughout the week. And like I was like looking at my notes like before we got on this, and I was like, "What the fuck happened on this show?" And then I'm reading back everything. And it's like, God, there was so much there's like a lot of ridiculousness that happens on this show, but there's a lot of good wrestling too. So like overall, I mean, I'm kind of with you. It's better than I thought it would be because I've heard from other people that like the main event was a shit show, and it kind of was. And there's like the Riots is kind of dumb, but like we see how like Samoa Joe and Bryan Danielson, you had that crazy triple threat, which is like an amazing match. So overall, I enjoyed it, I think.
And I have to say shout out to the commentary as well. This is my favorite commentary performance from ROH so far. Like from what we've seen, like earlier Ring of Honor. I'll explain what I mean. Like for like because like random matches, they were like. They made it for me. I was like, God, these guys are fucking hilarious. Whether they tried to or not, like,
you know what?
Anyway, it's just a preface of what we're gonna talk about. So
that's interesting because I specifically hated the commentary on this show.
It's a love hate. It was a love hate for me.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain things they do well. I love how they'll like if a match happens, they kind of build on why this match is happening and like the result, like what the stakes are, I guess, if there are any. So they are good in some aspects, but there's like, again, like we'll get into it, but yeah, 1 year anniversary, and we won't talk about because there's a lot of like flashbacks that happen in this show, like in between the matches, they'll cut to like a big moment that happened in the year of 2002. 2002 Ring of Honor is something, man. I mean, did any of those flashbacks stick out to you? I know we covered some of them.
It did because like it was one of those dealios where like, oh, I saw that, I remember that, but that's the only thing that stuck out about it because like they did it so dramatic where it's like a flashback had to be black and white, like it was fucking 1970 or some shit. It's like oh, Charlie Chaplin's about to bust out and like hit someone with a Van Terminator. What the fuck? So it's like it's like I was like, oh, the drama, we get it. It was the past. You could just say. Give it a date, which they did on the bottom, but it had to be black and white. I'm like, chill the fuck out, guys. Get over yourself.
Look, baby steps, man. I mean, you've watched some of those early 2002 shows with the like the PowerPoint intro packages. Did they? I guess they did. Yeah,
they did a little bit.
Fuck. Well, never mind. Fuck them, I guess.
Like the Alex Wright dance, like music shit. Oh,
well, literally,
oh,
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they showed like Xavier beating Loki. Can you just do that throughout the entire show?
Don't. I got you.
There you go. Just in the running in the background. Thank you. Now that's footage I have just used for whatever I want now. But yeah, so they showed like Xavier beating Loki for the title. They showed Tommy Dreamer appearing, which is a cool moment. Giving Michael Shane a DDT.
That was a very cool moment.
Yeah. Any time Michael Shane gets his ass kicked is okay by me. Low-Key versus Amazing Red. They show the Paul London, Michael Shane street fight. The Eddie Guerrero showing up for the Night of Appreciation, which I forgot how hyped that was, by the way. We covered that show, and like the main event, like it was like his send-off before he went back to WWE, and he was just kicking the shit out of everybody. It was hype as hell. So I did like those little At first, I was like, we saw this, but it's been like so long since I've seen them, and everything kind of blurs together in the Murphy Rec Center. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen. But so the show opens up with Low-Key walking in the snow. So I don't know what this thing is with 2003 Ring of Honor, but everyone loves to just get right up close to the camera when they're cutting a pro.
Mm-hmm.
Always
be me too.
Ready.
I'm ready for Ring of Honor. I did so many things. throughout the years, I embody everything of Ring of Honor, which is basically kicking people for real and not understanding this is fake.
It's
the only note I had of that promo is like he clearly couldn't see where he was going.
yeah, I mean, he had his beanie over his eyes. Like,
I hate that shit so much. It's like hold on. I got something. Here you go.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, Paul London. That's what it was to me. I hate that shit. That shit bugs me. It's like, when was that ever cool? Like,
dude, he wasn't the only one. Like AJ Styles was doing a similar thing.
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
Like why did they do like a bunch of these throughout the show too? Like AJ Styles gets there, he's in the staircase, he's like, I'm here to win the match, and then he walks away. He's like, why do we need this?
It was like the most vanilla, I'm trying to think of like basic promos, like promo class 101. It's like, all right, just tell them that what are you gonna do to them?
Yeah, I couldn't tell if Paul London was bad at promos or if he was just being weird Paul London, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the above. Oh, I love, like, if you watch any of look up like YouTube, go on PWG and look up any Paul London's promos, you'll see some funny shit. Like when he wants to be, when they let him be who he wants to be, because he's naturally a nut. He's talented as hell. But when you let him go on the mic, he's actually fucking hilarious. Look it up. Like him and El Generico is a really good one. Him and where he like makes like Bryan Danielson crack
I've seen
over
that
and over
one.
again.
Yeah, he's like
exactly.
I saw
the
dolphins.
Danger Bees. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the hybrid dolphins. My bad.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what is he's like? This is my tag team partner, Bryan Danielson, and Bryan's like, hello. Yeah. He's like cracking up. Oh my god, it's so good.
And it reminds me of like, whenever I go to shows too, like you like let go of your inhibitions, just clap, make noise, because like when you're in wrestling events, you're always like self-conscious. You don't want to be that one guy like all hype and everyone else is kind of like chill, because you don't want a nerd to look down on you.
Right,
You're a sweaty, dirty nerd thinking that you're the crazy one.
And that's like, nope, we're all in this together.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
There's no hierarchies here.
You should go with me to an event one day. I'm the first one up. Like, well, I'm probably like 3 tequilas in by then, but I'm always just like, fuck him up, and it's like just a pre-show. It's like,
dude, I would love to go to like a Warrior wrestling show and just get plastered. Like, that's my goal.
That's my every month. Every month I do it at least once. Like this one time I brought my coworker with me. She's really hot. She's like a tall, hot Hispanic chick, and like you should see all the mansplaining that all the nerds they all came out telling her everything about wrestling, and she would just look at him clear and be like, I don't care. Like, stop talking to me.
It's like
you're not gonna get it.
The meme of like the girl in the club and the guy's like yelling in her ear.
Yes, yes.
But it's like the real version of that. Oh,
pretty much. You see, he's the face. Man, fuck off. Then why you cheering against him, asshole?
Explain me that.
Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, I mean, it's better to digress than talk about easy money.
Well, that's not easy to do. Oh,
hold on.
Oh, it's too fucking bad.
This show's already off the fucking rails. I love it. Which is a theme for the show, so
Yeah, yeah.
But 4 corner survival to open up the show, which I do like. So they finally, like when I started watching ROH, like the first show I ever watched, it opened up with a 4 corner survival match, kind of like this, and that's what sucked me in immediately was how like fun and entertaining they were. And this one was pretty good too. You have Michael Shane, Easy Money, Chad Collier, and Colt Cabana. So Easy Money, you familiar with this guy?
Actually, yeah, I've seen some of the stuff at in ECW.
Yeah.
I might have been confusing him with another guy. I think his name was Chris Hamrick, but one of them was like big, like a bump taker. So I wasn't sure which one's which. I was hoping it was this guy, but even then, like I just remember Easy Money because like he had some big matches in ECW when it was like its waning days. But other than that, not really. I mean, Colt Cabana, obviously. Like I was like, oh yeah, and then Michael Shane. Oh, anyway,
dude, of all the people in the world, I think me and you know Michael Shane more than anybody.
It's like if he's not randomly super kicking women for no reason, I can't watch him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Except for this match.
Exactly.
I will give him this match because this match, like they kind of paired off. Like if I don't remember who and who, but I think it'd be like Chad Collier and oh man, it's gonna drive me nuts. But by the way, Chad Collier, if you do a Dragon Ball fuse of Kurt Angle and Dean Malenko,
Yes.
put them together, you get Chad Collier. No fail.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, go ahead.
After that fusion, zap all the charisma out of it, and then you have Chad Collier. Or just keep Dean Malenko's, I guess.
Yes, there you go. Well, that's sad when you put Dean Malenko's charisma and Kurt Angle's charisma, you get this fucker.
It's just a
Anyway,
ruined
yeah.
product.
Yeah, like Chad Collier and Easy Money did some like good chain wrestling. They would tag out, and then Colt Cabana and Shane did some awesome chain wrestling back and forth. And I was just like, this is some good shit.
Yeah. No, it was fun. I mean, we're kind of shitting on them, because it's fun, but it was a good match. I mean, everybody kind of showed out, had their spots. Like you said, they paired off. As always, in the beginning, it's always like you take turns, and then it breaks down eventually. But yeah, Easy Money was the one that stuck out to me for sure. He's like kind of like a beefed up Hangman Page in a lot of ways, and not just because he has almost the exact same moveset, but actually, you know what? One thing I hated, by the way, about this match. Why does Easy Money have to have a name for all of his moves? That shit drives me crazy, even to this day. Because his name's Easy Money, right?
I get
his
it.
name's Easy Money. Everybody, ready? Here's some of his moves. So he has the Money in the Bank, which is the Deadeye, basically. He has the Money Clip, which is the Buckshot Lariat, and he has the Cha-Ching, which is a X-Plex that actually gives him the win in this match. So lots of good move. Did I miss any?
The Money Shot.
The Money Shot. If that's not a part of his arsenal, then
It's just an eye poke.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
God damn it. That's genius, actually.
But like one thing I remember taking note of was like Chad Collier. Of course, he had one of his moves was the Texas Cloverleaf.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it! Can you be more Dean Malenko? It's like,
so he was trained. He was trained by Dean Malenko, actually.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, but still, like, you have to be so on the nose, Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
Do like a Boston Crab, like something kind of similar, but I don't know.
No matter what you do in the match, do not change the expression on your face. You don't want it. It's a poker face.
Yeah, he had that down. He had that down. Yeah, Colt Cabana's in there. He does this like really impressive like double underhook spinning driver. I don't know what he calls it, but yeah, young Colt Cabana is something to see for sure.
Yep, definitely. He was just like, when you look at young Colt Cabana, you had to think to yourself, man, this guy's got, he's got to be a standout. He's gonna be something big's gonna happen. And then of course I think WWE signed him and turned him to Scotty Goldman, and then.
He has a good run in Ring of Honor before then, though, and it's interesting to see like the foundations being built because he's still like fairly serious at this. He's not boom Colt Cabana yet, but
his rivalry with Homicide in Ring of Honor, like fast forward, watch it if you ever get the chance. That's one of my favorite rivalries of all time, independent wrestling.
Really?
Anyway, you just watch it for yourself. Like even with me just saying that, I'm confident you're gonna be like, this is fucking awesome.
No, I'm getting to it eventually. So.
I don't recall the year, but there's like just so you know, there's a lot of gang warfare and Drano drinking and no rules matches and
Drano drinking. That sounds par for the course.
You'll see for yourselves. Anyway.
Anyways.
But
yeah, fun match. We've said. And any other spots stick out to you that we haven't mentioned?
I'm always one of those nitpickers who watch like I always look for details, and the only thing that bugs me is that. Like, why are they even tagging each other in and out when anybody can be pinned at any time?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of it? It's like, all right, you gotta pin, you gotta stay in the I don't care if you're legal or not. You could get pinned at any time, but just please stay on the apron.
Right.
Like,
I can even understand if you like want to stand on the apron to like avoid being a part of it, but like you said, why are you tagging? Like the tagging doesn't do anything.
Exactly. But I mean, okay, fine. Kayfabe, you get a break or some shit like that. But it's other than that, it's like this still doesn't make a sense. Just beat the shit out of somebody. But I'll hand it to them that they didn't make it into a tag match. People were tagging anybody.
Yes.
Yeah, they were tagging anyone. So that was good. That was a good deal. Like it wasn't like a cheap way of like booking a 4-way by making it into a tag match. So good shit.
Yeah, and honestly, it's designed just to be a fun spot.
Yeah,
to get the crowd hot. So not even worth looking too much into the logic, I guess. But
Yeah. Shout out Sandman versus Cactus Jack or some shit.
yeah, exactly.
Why is he even pinning him?
Yeah, God, they didn't even know. I don't know, but yeah. So easy money. Like I said, he wins with the cha-ching, fucking so it's a suplex slam basically, and one more thing I'll shout out about this match.
Sure.
Is the shitty ass yoga mat that's on the outside on the concrete, because it's surrounded by concrete, but you have this little like small mat on like one side of the ring. I think it was.
But you didn't see that? Simply Luscious ran out. She's like, oh, that's where I left it.
Yeah. And yeah, that comes into play later. Because everyone's doing dives like onto that specific part of the, except for like one. I think Paul London just says fuck it and moonsaults on the concrete. But yeah, so we have after that a 6-man tag match, the Carnage Crew, which is a team of DeVito, Loke, and Masada, versus the Texas Wrestling Academy, which is Don Juan, Fast Eddie, and Hot Stuff Hernandez. And you have a Rudy Boy Gonzalez out there with him, one of the trainers. And I looked at this match on the card. And I was looking at that second team, and I was like, okay, Don Juan is the guy that looks like Charlie. Got it.
Fuck off.
The Fast Eddie is the blind one. And I see Hot Stuff Hernandez. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, it sounds like a goober-ass name. Like, it's going to be some tiny Mexican midget. Like, it's just going to run out there, Hot Stuff Hernandez. And then
another Don Juan.
Yeah. Just Don Juan going under the ring and changing outfits. Yeah. Then out comes fucking Hernandez, like that Hernandez from LAX, and is he? He's somewhere now, isn't he? Is he like in AAA or something? I don't know. He kind of pops in and out everywhere. He's in Lucha Underground. He's been everywhere.
He works at Sapphires with Disco Inferno.
Yes. Checks. That checks.
I go there. It's awesome.
Seems like your speed.
Yo.
But yeah, Hot Stuff Hernandez out here looking beefy. I mean, I guess because the rest of the guys in this match, I guess the Carnage Crew guys are decently sized, but you got, Charlie and Blind Eddie out there kind of dwarfed by Hernandez. So
that's the sucky part. How was Charlie the worst guy when you got a blind guy in the match?
Yeah, Fast Eddie, man.
He was fucking good.
He was good. I don't know did we talk about him in one of our previous ROH shows?
Maybe it was somebody else. You cheated on me.
Yeah.
But it's probably somebody else. But it was just amazing because like the commentary was just flat out saying he can't even legally drive himself to the arena. He's sitting there like doing like moonsaults and doing all this crazy shit. And like if I was in the ring with this guy, I'd be like, oh man, he can't see. Like he literally
just keep 5 feet apart from him.
That's exactly. It's like, I'll do the work, just you take the heat. Don't worry about it. I don't want this insecurity because you may need me in the fucking nose. So.
Asshole. Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. He probably fucked up. He had to fuck up at some point and just died or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, I never heard of him again, but.
Hopefully he's not dead. I feel like an asshole, but.
No, yeah, I'm sure. Sorry.
Yeah, fuck him, actually. But
rest in piss.
Well, anyways. But yeah, this match is. What do you? Oh, okay.
Rest in peace.
No, can you do it one more time?
Oh, fuck off.
There we go. All right. So we have.
Don't take drinks every time he rim shots me.
I don't know how to use this thing. But yeah, so Hernandez just shitting on everybody. He does like a Dominator DDT kind of deal on one of the guys. Fast Eddie, like you said, he's just flying all over the place. He does like a springboard acai moonsault to the outside. But he does this, but he lands right into a hubcap shot from I believe it was Loke, one of the guys. So it's a DQ, which I'm not clear if there's DQs or not in Ring of Honor, because later they suggest that there's not DQs in Ring of Honor, but here there's DQ. Oh, it's a whole thing. But so yeah, the Carnage.
I think when you violate the code of honor, then you're DQ'd.
So is this okay? I see. So later it was a grudge match, maybe. So
it's
a blood feud. So it's
exactly.
There it is. We're figuring it out. So yeah, hubcaps for everybody. Carnage Crew gets themselves disqualified. They don't really care about wins and losses. They just care about carnage. So everybody's getting smashed with hubcaps. Blind Eddie gets spike pile driven from the second rope, which looked brutal. Rudy Boy Gonzalez gets in there to defend his students, but he gets a chair shot from HC Low. So fuck for you, Rudy Boy, I guess. But to make the save, YMCA, Village people on the sound speakers, and out comes Mace and Buffy, the original members of the Christopher Street Connection, because they've gone some evolutions, throughout 2002. I think Buffy left to deal with some personal stuff, and then they brought in like somebody else, and then they had the Japanese pool boy at some point. It was a whole weird thing. And it sounds like if somebody's like tuning into this for the first time, it's like Japanese pool boy. He's just joking. Nope, it was a guy in a Gib outfit called the Japanese pool boy.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So a huge pop for the Christopher Street Connection, which is hilarious because they were the first guys ever, fun fact, to come out, so to speak, through the curtain.
Live feed, so to speak.
Chatterbait. But so they come out through the curtain. They're the first ones that ever do, right? Come out through the curtain. They're gay. And they so they've like built like a cult following over the year, I guess, in Ring of Honor. Everybody loves them. And so we have the Carnage crew beating up Blind Eddie and Charlie and Hernandez. Christopher Street Connection comes out, and can you run down what happens here? If you remember?
All right, so all I remember was the Carnage crew beating the shit out of TWA or whatever, which I got a kick out of because in the bottom of the screen there's a graphic that says "Your winners TWA" as the Carnage crew is beating the living daylights out of just.
Are they though?
It was exactly. I was like, "Your winner." These guys are getting destroyed. Oh, all I know was to shout out the announcers. The Queens are back in Queens.
Oh.
Well, okay,
God.
so okay.
You know what? That's a good line.
No, that's what they did. But like, I was just like, all right, whatever. These commentators need to they need to chill. But yeah, there was a moment where one of the Christopher Street dudes did a Bronco Buster on DeVito, but he grinded his balls into DeVito's face. It didn't look like that was DeVito's first rodeo, but I digress. And then as this was happening, Masada was laying face down on DeVito's dick.
Right.
And then as this was happening, HC Low after this whole sexual assault happened, they carry HC Low as if they're basically like fucking him, and then he lays him down and does the gay basher onto HC Low.
Right.
And as I say this out loud, I'm hoping nobody hears me out of context.
Just gonna cut that up over one.
It's like that guy in the apartment over there is watching some gay porno, and he's like narrating everything that's going on.
You forgot though the confetti, the rainbow confetti poppers.
How could I?
Which because they that's the first thing they do is they get in the ring. Carnage crew tries to attack them, they miss, and then they like, and one of them. So one of them goes out, but the other guy, I think it's Buffy or one of them. His poppers don't go off right away. So what happens is he's like ready to pop, right? He's ready to pop, but it doesn't. But the Carnage, I think it's DeVito's in front of him. He's like expecting it, so he can't attack him. So he's like, there's this awkward moment where they're just facing each other, waiting for him to pop. So I'm just trying to create a lot of gifs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I bet you, if this episode has your most views on YouTube, you know what type of people will listen to your show.
Look, might as well
rewind
lean into it.
Rewind that real quick.
Maybe that's what the people want. I'm just looking at the analytics. More popping. Whoa! Hello! Might be the first nipple on this show ever.
I see some puppies. My name is Don Juan. You dumb fuck. I have a name.
Yeah, there you go. They don't call him handsome. Wait, who's the handsome one? Oh no, wait. No, because there's another guy who's like handsome something that also looked like you.
No.
No, it was like Eddie Guapo. Because Guapo's handsome in Spanish. There it is. Anyone like vaguely Asian, I'm like, oh, that's Charlie. But
so like it's just amazing. Like these two guys, the shape of these two Christopher Street, like they look like two poop emojis, right?
What?
They're shaped like two poop emojis.
I need to go look at the tape.
Look at the tape. It's like two Michelin men who are like dark. It's like the weird.
How dare you? They're chiseled.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I don't know. I can't shit on these guys anymore because they look like it.
Because they love it. But anyways, they kiss. The crowd goes, oh
yeah.
And then we move on to the next match.
That was pretty awkward because their faces and the fans are cheering their asses off, but when they're watching these guys kiss, they're like,
oh, get out of here.
You see one of these guys like who's liking this too much. There's got to be one guy in the crowd who's like, now touch his junk.
That's what happens. All this pent up energy in the downstairs regions, why they jump the barricade later. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. But first, we have a little brother on brother violence. So we got Mark Briscoe versus Jay Briscoe. So before this match, they show the highlights from their previous match at Honor Invades Boston, which to this point where we're at, that's probably one of my favorite matches thus far from Ring of Honor. And so Mark Briscoe's finally 18, so now he can finally wrestle, and I think he goes on to team with Jay after this show, and finally have that Briscoe's tag team that we all know that's still going today. But so there's this whole thing before this match. Mark Briscoe and Jay, they had like tension between them. Mark was pissed that Jay was losing. Mark joined the Prophecy, turning heel and turning on his brother. It was a whole thing. Like he like yelled at his parents ringside. So Mark was a dickhead. But I guess in real life, Mark lost one of his friends in a car accident soon before this show. So they were like, you know what? I'll just throw that out the window. And they pretty much attributed that to his attitude change. So now Mark and Jay are good, but this is just kind of a brother, like friendly sibling rivalry kind of match. So I was watching this match. It was a really good match. I think I might have liked the previous one a little bit better, but I don't know. What were your overall thoughts on it, I guess?
I love this match.
Yeah.
I'd say it's on par, if not better. So I'm on the opposite side of the coin with you on
That's
this
fair.
one, because it's like it was just, I don't know. They're like, it was just the same thing, but they're just it seemed more brutal to me. They were just beating the living shit out of each other. Maybe it's because I like the result more, but I mean. Yeah, maybe that's why I liked it more. But like, I like the touch in the beginning of the match where like it was like chain wrestling, and then these two are incredible at it. It's like poetry in motion with these guys. It's obviously they've probably wrestled, like trained with each other, so you could see it. It comes out in the actual performance. So anyway, these guys going back and forth, and then like Jay breaks the ice when he starts striking in the beginning of the match. He's just popping Mark in the face, and it's like, and I love this touch where like Jay hits him so hard and knocks Mark out. And the ref is like, oh shit, is this really supposed to happen? And the ref is like, looking over Mark, and then like Jay is like stops his attack, and he was like, I should check on him anyway. Checks on him, and Mark throws an ankle pick. I was like, you fucker. Like even I was like, oh come on, man. I fell for it too, and like that's what I want to be. I want to be a Mark. I want to be into this, and I was like, Mark, you fucker, you, and it's like this whole sibling rivalry thing, because I've been there with like my cousin where I'll pretend I'm hurt and I'll get up and like whoop his ass, so it's like I was like, you can relate, but that was just the whole brother dynamic just adds a story instantly to the match, and you just can't help but be invested in the match because there's a story, there's something going on. So I love this match all along.
Yeah, and like you said, it started out with like all the chain wrestling, which is great, but that kind of had an element of like, okay, this is just friendly competition.
Yeah.
But then you have like you said with Mark, he plays possum and just clips Jay with it, and it's like, okay, no, we're trying to win. This is gonna like add an element of brutality to the match, and then they went out to the outside, and it looked like a damn fist fight they had on the outside.
Oh yes, if I was at like ringside, I was like, they're fucking hitting each other.
Yeah, I think they were.
Low-key was in the back. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
This is a good match. See that? They're not a bunch of pussies.
Can't see, though.
Yeah,
but then you have like guys springboarding to the outside. I think Jay... Oh, no. Mark, he lays out Jay on the outside and it does a moonsault from the top to the outside, like on the floor onto Jay, which is brutal. Inside the ring... Mark sets up Jay on the top rope and does like a springboard ace crusher from the top, which looks pretty. He tries to do this a second time later in the match, but Jay counters into his own ace crusher. So good element of story there, learning from his mistakes. Mark ends up hitting the Jay Driller onto Jay, taking his move, but only gets a 2 count. But then ultimately, Mark Briscoe, he goes for a moonsault to follow up on this, but misses. And then Jay hits his Jay Driller because he's the expert of this move. And he keeps his arms locked and then hits 2 more. So it's like a 3 amigos kind of deal, but with Tiger pile drivers, which is insane. And that gives Jay Briscoe the win. And then you have, so they shake hands. There's like a shot of their parents in the crowd watching. So it was a cool moment. And it's a cool, pretty much preparing them to be one of the most legendary tag teams of all time after this. So I loved it.
Me too. I love it. Like every part of this match I just loved. The only nitpicky I'm gonna be again is that these guys have some selling issues. Because like you could tell like when they know there's another big move that's gonna come up, they'll get right back up and just go for that slam. And like I think Mark was guilty of it a few times where Jay would just hit him with like an insane like suplex, and Mark would just pop right back up just to take another one.
Like, fighting spirit.
It wasn't as cool as the Japanese like like it wasn't as cool as how the Japanese do it, because like it wasn't on purpose, because at least the Japanese they sell it as a fighting spirit, whereas Mark just got right back up like, all right, pick me up and throw me down again. But I mean, besides that, same thing. The 3 J drillers, great touch. And my favorite thing was like I don't even know if it was on purpose, but when, like what you alluded to, the parents were in the crowd, right? Mm-hmm. And like the dad was ecstatic, or the mom was sad. She's like kind of like she's of course like worried before her kids, while the dad's like, yeah, whoop his ass. Like, I loved it. I loved it. I was like, you know what? I want to see more of these two go at it. But hey, one of my favorite tag teams of all time, if not the top 5, top 3 in my book. I can't decide it.
Yeah, for
unless
sure.
I make a list one day. But I love
just
these
based
guys.
off longevity alone and the quality throughout that longevity.
Yes.
I mean, they're just as good as today. I mean, they're better today than they were here for sure. So
and I think you saw in one of my tweets where I was just clearly saying that these guys can technical. They can do brawling, and then they could do promos, and like no matter what, your eyes just draw to them, and they're a walking gimmick. And it's like, how do you not sell them? Like, are they like America's Most Wanted or some shit? Like, why won't like big companies touch these guys?
They're what was it? There's like a phrase like not aesthetically pleasing to the eyes or something.
Yes. At least they weren't like Joey Ryan Me Too. It's like, oh yeah, he tried touching me. Thank God.
But yeah, their promos, the Toothless Mark and Dreaded Jay. I mean, they're so unique and so good at everything, so believable. It's man. But even if they don't get signed to like AEW or WWE, they've had a great career. Yeah. Regardless, GCW Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes. So.
All right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Wait, no, they lost, right? Didn't they lose? The
I can't keep a track with GCW.
It all kind of blurred together the last half of the show.
Like I'm trying to think of like who's their champ right now. Is it Moxley?
Yes.
What does he win? Like a hubcap?
I think it's what the title's made of, actually. Yeah. Now I'm kind of like half joking about that. That seems like some shit they would do.
That's me too. I actually like some GCW, but I know what you mean.
But speaking of hubcaps, when you say hubcaps, you automatically think of Boogaloo, right? The former tag team partner of Homicide, who is in this next match against Steve Corino. So Corino versus Homicide here. So the backstory here, Homicide and Corino, they were tagging together a few months ago, and there was a situation where Homicide, he accidentally forearmed Corino in the match, and it cost them the match. So after the match, or it might have been Corino forearmed Homicide, either way. But there was hostility between those two coming out of that match. And later in the show, Homicide stabbed Corino in the eye with a fork. So obviously, Corino wasn't a big fan of that. So a few months later, Homicide was set to be in a main event match, but Corino attacked him before the match with a fork, stabbing him in the face, and then took his spot in the main event. So there's a lot of it's a big grudge between these two, and so that's kind of where we're at here. Now we have a grudge match here at the 1-year anniversary, and so there's a few layers to this. So Corino's also building a faction, which is unnamed. I don't know if he eventually has a name for it or what, but just Corino's crew, whatever. Yeah. And at this point, it's just Simply Luscious, who he yanked from the Prophecy, and Samoa Joe, who he also got from the Prophecy. And so we got Luscious and Joe coming out with Corino, Joe out there with a quarter zip, looking deadly and handsome, and Carino grabs the mic, which the comment is kind of one of the things that commentary drove me crazy about. Gabe Sapolsky, Chris Lovey, he's like, oh, I don't see any mic work on the format for this show.
Yeah, that was
like,
ridiculous.
Come on, man. But they're supposed to be like rogue, like renegades, I guess. So I get it. But Carino's like, he's cutting a promo. He's doing a Steve Carino thing. And he's yelling at the crowd. He's like, no crackhead in here has the balls to shut me up. Like throughout the match, you have like Samoa Joe just jaw jacking with everybody. He's like, get the fuck, yeah, why don't you go over here? I'll fuck you up kind of deal, like all throughout the match. And obviously leads to something later. But before the match, I should say, Carino introduces the newest member of his faction, Michael Shane. Woo doggy. That's ace in the sleeve, right? Ace in the asshole. What's the phrase?
Yeah. I think that's clearly what it is. Ace in the asshole. Let me look it up. I think I saw it on an episode about Touched by an Angel. Anyway.
So you're like, man, Michael Shane, that's like, you can't get better than that. Well, you got an egg on your face if you think that, because Carino announces another member of his faction, C.W. Anderson.
How intimidating is this?
It looks like you have cerebral palsy when you do that. But to sum up, so it's Steve Carino, Simply Luscious, Samoa Joe, Michael Shane, C.W. Anderson is all this faction here, and he's got Homicide out there by himself. Well, kind of by himself, but in his words, he says he has the whole city of New York City behind him. So Homicide has lots of he's not
Homeless
scared.
People?
Yes, homeless people, crackheads, etc. So Homicide, he cracks Carino in the head with a mic, and the match gets underway. The match, I mean, it is what it is. The match really isn't the story, honestly, of what happens here.
Yeah.
Carino kind of dominates throughout most of it. That all kind of starts when so Homicide, he hits Carino in the head with a chair on the outside, which I guess there's no TQs in this match because it's a blood feud, so there's no code of honor. Homicide hits Carino in the head with a chair. Then Homicide sets up the chair and sits Carino on it. And then Homicide goes for his suicide flipping tope, but he misses and goes through the chair, which looked pretty sick.
Loved it.
At this point, Carino just does like a variety of moves, like Northern Lights bombs, neck breakers. But Homicide keeps kicking out. But eventually, Carino locks in a Cobra clutch. And Homicide, his hand goes up once, twice. And then the third time, I do like the drama of this. Like his hand, normally you'll see it like pop up or it'll go like straight down. But Homicide's hand goes up for the third time and it comes down and he's like, oh, I'm going to bring it up. And then it falls. So then Homicide passes out. Carino gets the win here. And then we have some hullabaloo afterwards. But thus far, what'd you make of this?
Some boogaloo happening after. I was just too distracted during this match. Same thing. It was just like you were saying, like it became an afterthought because like Steve Carino paraded out like the most like unintimidating group of people to ever join his faction. I was waiting for Special K to come out, like just, with me and the revolution, It's like,
Yes.
So it was distracting. Like same thing. You see, all you paid attention to really was the jaw jacking with the wrestlers on the side and the crowd. And like one thing that I'll take note, it was a good and a bad, was like I love the fact that even though Carino's group is like a big time heel faction, they respect the code of honor. You know what I mean? It's really cool because it's like sort of like, hey, they're putting over the fact that the code of honor matters, So they're really like, we're not going to interfere, even though we have like 9 people out here,
Right.
But what put me off was Samoa Joe. He was trying to put it over, but he goes, "You're lucky this is Ring of Honor." I goes, "I'll fuck you up."
That's
You're
what he
lucky
said,
yeah. You're lucky it's Ring of Honor. I'm sitting like, that's so unintimidating. You don't even understand. And we're making fun of his clothes. Like he was wearing that necklace that like preteens who just go through like puberty wear to like try to like
the puka shells.
Yeah, those fucking shells. And I was like sitting there like, all right. I guess it was part of the times. All right, you get it. But yeah, the only part of the match that I was gonna say was the bump where Homicide goes right through that chair, and then that nice touch of like Homicide just teasing that he's gonna get out of his hold and just passes out. the match was there, and then you said everything I wanted to say already.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, yeah, because the match itself isn't the story here, but yeah, that's a good point about the code of honor, because that's kind of an underlying story of all of this is Carino's faction versus the Prophecy. And the Prophecy are there. They don't respect the code of honor at all. They're very much like WWE sports entertainment. Like, we'll do whatever it takes. We'll interfere in matches. We'll do ref bumps, all that stuff. Then you have the antithesis of that in Carino, who's like, we respect it, but they're heels too, which is kind of a weird dynamic, but it is kind of fun. Yeah. But like you said, when it's Joe's like, yeah, you're lucky I respect the rules. Otherwise, I would really give you a knuckle sandwich here.
So whoever he's talking to, I forget what it was, maybe a fan, they'd be like, well, all right, come get me. It's like, let's go. He's like, no, what's the Ring of Honor? I can't do it. I can't hit you. You know?
PWG is fine. Ring of Honor? No.
If this was GCW, I would have already stabbed you with something. But like, you know, to go back to what you were saying earlier with the whole fork dealio, only in wrestling where you can have like a storyline of two guys with forks going after each other. Any other blood feud of two guys who want to, it's like, yeah, I got this gat. I'm ready for this guy. I want to bring a baseball bat. But you're going or looking through your looking through your cabinet to see if you have any clean forks to stab somebody with.
Is there any in the dishwasher? Yeah, I'll bring this to the show.
This one right here. It's good. Like, don't lose that one. We need that for tonight. We're having fettuccine.
Oh, you think they just use them like afterwards? They just bring it in.
Exactly. Okay.
But so after the match, so the bell rings, so now the code of honor is no longer applicable.
Yep.
So therefore, you can fight with the crowd.
Yep.
And then all hell breaks loose. So I don't even know what exactly. Well, I guess so. After the match, Carino locks in the Cobra Clutch again, and they're just beating down on Homicide after the fact. And they're still like, everybody's yelling, all of his crew's yelling at the crowd. And eventually people just start hopping the barricade and rush the ring, and everybody just starts fighting everybody. So the riots happen, which apparently is I've never seen this, or I've heard people vaguely mention it. What do you know? I mean, I'm assuming it's like not a real thing.
Yeah, it was definitely
or is it? Yeah,
so it was work because, well, the main thing that clued me off, and that was the only thing actually, was that of Rottweiler's fame. Do you know who the faction of the Rottweilers?
No.
Okay, so it's later on in Ring of Honor. It became popular later on. Julius Smokes was the guy who was egging on. You know, yes, it was Julius Smokes in the back the whole time. So when I saw Julius Smokes, I was like, all right, here we go. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. So that's how you know it was a work, because, like, same thing. They just happen to have these humongous motherfuckers with them. And, like, but it was still beautifully done, because if you watch it again, if you, like, they showed, like, 900 replays, and every replay, which, how do you put over that this is a riot, and you're going to put replays like, hey, our security is this bad. Hey, riots happen in our company. Just watch. It was a horrible thing that happened, but we got 900 replays in 500 different angles so you can see it. But so, like, the when they rushed the ring, it looked really nice, because it just looked like a storm of people like going through. But in the end, like, it was just kind of annoying, because what annoyed me about it is, like, what if there were some idiot fans who thought it was real and wanted to get in on this? Yeah, there
might have been, because there was one part of it where I think it was Buffy from the Christopher Street connection. Yes. It looked like he actually clocked somebody.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Like 100%. Like there was, but then you could see who the guys that they were focusing on were. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the other wrestlers came out for, like, probably the other riffraff, like, you know, the other idiots who came out. You know what I mean? Like, and same thing. If I had a couple of Don Julios, I may have jumped the ring, because I knew it's Ring of Honor, so I would have gone after Samoa Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
he just stands there.
Yeah, he just gets, like, sit there like oh, this,
in a sweater.
But it's Ring of Honor though. Oh, you
know. Nerds.
But, yeah, so that's the only thing that clued me off, that it was like because it was well done. It was very chaotic. But the other thing that clued me off that it was a work is because what show will go on the next? Like, all right, anything. Anyway, things are good, cool, whatever. Like, show must go on.
Right,
You'd stop that show in a heartbeat.
Well, they placed it because the intermission happens after, and they always have an intermission halfway through. So it's like, oh, lucky us, it happens right before the intermission.
So after you're done cleaning off your blood, there's some nachos over there with jalapenos for $2.50.
Ooh, hello. That's probably what they said. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, there were a few things that, like, hinted that it was a work. First of all, it's like 20% of the crowd that really is involved, and everyone else is just watching, like, what the hell is happening here? but I did like it. It felt different,
too.
especially
Me
like
too.
putting yourself in the beginning of 2003. You didn't really see this kind of stuff in mainstream wrestling. It's kind of a like almost a precursor to like Retribution or something like that. This is like what Retribution thought they were.
Yeah.
Or like Nexus, like just people causing havoc, or like in Impact, you have the Ring of Honor crew kind of doing the same similar kind of deal. But one thing that I noted here is that commentary would not shut the fuck up during all of this. Oh my God. They're like doing the play-by-play of this riot. Like, oh yeah, Homicide as this one fan, the big guy, this Samoa Joe, he's punching the other. Like, oh God, like enough. And it's like, then you have like I think it's Rob Feinstein, right? The one that was in the gray shirt. Feinstein?
Yeah.
Some Jew
Mr.
is out there. And
our buddy Abraham up there.
like I think it's Michael Shane is out there. He's like yelling at Rob Feinstein, like, you piece of shit. And then like Homicide and the Hit Squad are yelling at Gabe Sapolsky. My favorite part was when Gabe, like there's people fighting, and then Gabe just comes into frame like, stop it, stop it. Screechy voice. What a pussy.
Are you a basketball fan?
I hoop every now and then.
Oh, but do you watch or?
Not a lot currently, no.
Well, it's not current, but it's just remind me of or after you said that the famous fight, I think it was Alonzo Mourning and someone else, where like Stan Van Gundy had to stop the fight, so he climbed. He's like hanging on his ankles, like, no, don't fight, stop it, no. But I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm fucking up the names, but I know it was definitely it was Jeff Van Gundy, excuse me. Anyway, so anybody who knows about this is watching this can call me out on Twitter. Remember, I'm at GetCho Podcast.
You'll get all the angry fan mail.
Oh God. Bring it.
But actually, so what might have triggered this is somebody had like I think it was Michael Shane or Samoa Joe. They had a Yankees jersey, and they were like running, like flossing their assholes and stomping on it. Michael Shane. Oh, that was good shit. And he has Samoa Joe then stomped on it, and he was doing like this little dance on it, which is fun. So yeah, there's a lot of chaos. Like you said, they replayed it at least 3 times. Yeah, and it was a good 15 minutes allotted to showing this riot. So, but again, it was fun. It felt different. And so you're saying it was wrestlers in it. So does it lead to like a match out of this?
It leads to a faction forming, but you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. But and just another thing commentary did throughout the show, they're already calling it the infamous riot, which if you're watching this on DVD, like you're just now seeing it. So how is it already infamous? But it's like, anyways, I digress. But Christopher Daniels is here cutting a promo. Well, actually, he's not here. He's completely not here. I think he's in Japan or something. But he's
eating curry. It's funny because it's ironic and goofy.
Do you not like curry, man?
It's not that I don't like curry, man. I just didn't like how it's like that all elite humor, being the elite humor. You know, it's like it's funny because it's goofy. You don't expect it. And I'm not good at dancing, so I'm gonna dance. You know, it's like
he's spicy.
Anyway,
what's the theme song?
That was it. That was it. And then like Fireball from Pitbull comes on, and you're like, whatever.
It's not Happy Corbin's theme song.
Oh God, it actually might be.
I think it might as well be.
But go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. But Christopher Daniels, there's 2 Christopher Daniels promos here backstage, which I don't know why they split them up throughout the show because they're pretty much the same thing. It's pretty much like I alluded to earlier, the Prophecy versus Carino's faction. Daniels goes into their history, like how, you know, it never worked out for us in WWF, but we had that similar kind of, we were in parallel, basically. We went through the same stuff, so I respected you. But now you come into Ring of Honor trying to take everything that the Prophecy has, because at this point, the Prophecy has all the championships. So Donovan Morgan, Christopher Daniels are the tag team champions. Xavier is the world champion. So, and Carino, their goal is to take all the titles. So there's that innate war there that's happening. And so Daniels is basically here daring Carino to fire the first shot because there haven't actually been like physical altercations between the two. So, anything stick out to you in these promos, or I guess this rivalry in general?
just generic El Generico promos. It's like El Generico promos are way better, but this is like it's just I'm gonna take over. Like it's like basketball cliches. We're gonna take it one step at a time as a team effort. Like it was tough, and then when the tough gets going, the going gets tough.
Yeah. And it's more of just getting way too close to the camera,
Yeah.
like getting mouth fucked by Christopher Daniels is not what I wanted when watching the show, but any hoozle.
Shout out Allison Danger.
How dare you?
Sorry, she's anyway.
But speaking about sluts, we got the Outcast Killers coming out here. Diablo Santiago and something Tortuga. They come out. And that they're also Dunn and Marcos come out, who are like the James Ellsworth tag team, basically.
Yep.
So a bunch of jobbers come out, and Gary Michael Capetta, who's like the I think he's the authority figure of Ring of Honor, but apparently
it seemed like
apparently Carino's group trumps all of that because I don't know, are they not under the ROH umbrella? Are they here? I don't know. There's the whole thing. But so what does he say? So someone from the Carino's group, this is Gary Michael Capetta saying this. He's saying that somebody from Carino's faction has demanded ring time, and out comes C.W. Anderson, who we didn't get enough of earlier, I guess. And C.W. Anderson's in there. It's just him versus all four of the other guys that I listed. And he's like, y'all can either leave this ring or I'll end all of your careers. And then they don't leave the ring, obviously, because they have pride. And then C.W. Anderson just fucking destroys all of these guys at once. Like, not like to their face. Like, he's facing all of them and just destroys all of them. Tail whips them all. And like he power bombs one of them. He gives another one a spine buster onto a pile of bodies. He's just right hands. He gives one guy like a famouser into an arm bar. So C.W. Anderson is a monster, apparently, right? Throw him up. Throw him up.
Yeah. It was awesome. That beatdown was pretty cool.
Fuck these guys, I guess.
I was like, exactly. Like, no more Dunn and Marcos matches in Ring of Honor because you're just waiting for somebody looking like, I don't know. He doesn't look very intimidating. Like, it's C.W. Anderson. I don't know.
I mean, he's literally. I mean, it's I guess the gimmick, but he's Kmart version of Arn Anderson.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. If like Vader got left in a dryer for too long. Who's the man? And then his fingers got broken, so he had to do something different.
And then you left him out in the sun too long. Yeah. It really, it is just Vader with a few wires tangled.
That's funny.
But
and then who comes out?
Oh man, the cult of personality, huh?
Da-na-na-na. Look in my eyes. Sorry.
CM Punk speaks tonight. God, fucking stop
Booker
it.
of the year.
Yep. But so out comes CM Punk, not to speak, but to fight.
Yep.
Because C.W. Anderson, he destroys all these jamokes, and he's like, anybody in the back want a piece of the enforcer? Like he takes Arn Anderson's nickname like word for word, which is like, I guess that's what we're doing. I guess that's the idea. But
was he carrying Ric Flair's bags to the arena?
I think he was actually. It was hard to see. Let's see. So CM Punk comes out and he's like, hey, CW, nobody cares about you or South Carolina. And I'm not impressed by you beating up 4 little kids, which is how he phrases these guys. I was like, okay, I guess fuck them. Yep. And he's then Punk's like, so I guess originally Punk was supposed to face Reckless Youth. So Punk is out here and he's like, you know what? At least CW, at least you showed up, unlike some other pussy. But then commentary then says that the reason that Reckless Youth wasn't there is because he got in a terrible car accident. So I was like, oh, what? Okay.
What a bitch.
Punk. Yeah, but it's pussy. So yeah, now we got CM Punk versus C.W. Anderson.
They went with the TKO.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to give it any more acronyms they throw out there.
HC Loke.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. We're getting there. What's the Hulk? BB Hulk?
BB Hulk.
BB Hulk. There it is. So the whole idea here is C.W. Anderson. He's like, he came into Ring of Honor, but then he got fired. But then he showed up again a few months later, like against the will, and interfered in somebody's match. And then Gabe was like, I hate you. Fuck you. You're out of here. And then, so now CW's back again to, I guess, avenge that. So now he's doesn't go with the Code of Honor at all. Gabe, even on commentary, is like, I hate C.W. Anderson. He's an asshole. So CW is like this renegade, but he's not really. But he's apparently allowed to have a match with CM Punk, so CW versus CM. And this match, again, is just kind of there. I mean, you have a Shining Wizard by Punk for 2. CW Anderson hits a super kick for 2. Then Anderson goes for a spine buster, but Punk rolls into like an awkward-looking roll-up for the win. CW's shoulders were like 5 feet off the mat, but CM Punk is to win here in kind of a whatever match. But yeah, what'd you think of this little deal?
I mean, I liked it. Like, you know, they did some good mat-based wrestling. Like, you know, I think CW did some arm work. Like, did a nice little Fujiwara armbar throughout the match, and like CM Punk showed that he might have done a little jiu-jitsu back in the day. Tried to work that the Achilles lock, working that 50-50 ground game against the CW. So I saw little touches of some like mixed martial arts in there. So it's like you could tell these guys can work. And then like, even though it looked clunky, that spine buster into the roll-up finish was actually kind of unique. I've never seen anything like that. So they're like, okay, I'll give him that. And then same thing, you don't like, which is really funny because you make CW Anderson look like a killer, and then he comes up and he loses to a roll-up. So it's kind of like, okay, you know. I mean, I guess it wasn't horrible because it's like you don't really lose that much heat when you lose to a roll-up because you could just say it's a fluke. But
yeah, exactly.
It's not like what happened earlier in the event where like the Carnage Crew looked like killers, destroying TWA, only to get their asses handed to them by two fruitcakes.
Two what, Charlie?
Oh, like, say
it.
Festive.
2 funny fellas.
Funny fellas.
Yeah.
Who, quite frankly,
are faggots. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit. No. I love her.
It's all jokes. I love all the fags that watch my show. But anyways, so
shout out GetCho Podcast. I just dissed my whole crew. I love them too. They're like, by the way, we're coming back. We're coming back. Just FYI. It's like
allegedly.
We are coming back. We're recording tonight, so you'll see. I know, right?
Okay.
We are. We actually record tonight. I got a 2 for tonight.
So I'm just fluffing you up right now.
Like, you know what? This is the main course. I'm just gotta make sure I'm ready for tonight too.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, blow is low this morning.
Well, the second time's always better, right? It lasts longer.
That's what I'm saying. With a little extra tequila. No.
But this happened at the end of the show, but I guess we're talking about CM Punk, so I'll bring it up now.
Okay.
At the end of the show, there's a CM Punk promo, and this is setting up for a legendary feud with Raven. So Punk is cutting a promo, and he announces that Raven will be at the March show for Ring of Honor, the first one. And it's basically, I mean, the whole deal is CM Punk is straight edge. They're really driving that home. Raven has a history of not being straight edge. So they have very, polar opposite lifestyles. So that's kind of the source of that animosity, I guess. And Punk says that Raven isn't an athlete and he doesn't belong in Ring of Honor, which is ironic because CM Punk isn't particularly athletic either. But Punk basically challenges Raven to a match, and then it cuts to a Raven promo. And it's just so striking when you're watching Ring of Honor and you see these shitty like Paul London and AJ Styles promos, and you see someone like Raven cut a promo. It's like, wow, that's what a promo can be. Yeah. But and Raven's basically, he talks a lot, but he's basically saying that he's the wiser of the two and that he's in better shape than he's been in a long time, and basically accepts the challenge, I guess. And then so I guess they'll meet in March. But what'd you think of that? Cut those kind of 2 promos at the end of the show.
All right, I'm gonna be transparent here, and I'm just gonna say I actually skipped through it. I fast forwarded through it because
you piece of shit.
I know I did because after that main event, I was that
drained.
I was very adamant that was the last thing I'm watching. And I meant to go back to watch the promos. I fast forwarded, so I want to see if I missed it because there's a lot of time left in the clip. So I was saying, all right, I'm missing something. So I went back and I was gonna rewatch the promos, but I was like, I just couldn't bear go near that main event. So I mean, I'm just gonna take it, at face value that it was, and like same thing. I can only imagine because Raven was always like a good promo guy. He would always like quote the Raven nevermore. He was just that good. And Punk was always at least confident in his promos. It sounded natural anytime he ever talked. So even if he was like, I'm sure he probably like, I didn't see this promo, and you said it yourself that he's always bringing home the whole straight edge thing. I bet he did this thing.
Yes. Yes.
See, I didn't even to watch it. It's like you knew he was gonna do something like that, so it's like, all right,
You're picturing it in your mind. I guarantee you, it's the exact same thing.
And his hair's probably greasy for some reason too.
Yes.
Like really, see, there you go. Like 2 for 2. I'll think of something else, but other than that, yeah, it was whatever.
Right.
So not much.
Yeah, that's it's honestly. I mean, it's not really worth going back. I mean, it was fun to see that announced because I forgot that that's what happened.
Yeah.
But the real money is what happens.
They did tease it in the middle of the event. They're like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a big debut coming. You'll see it later tonight in our promos. They did say that, and like I just couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. I was like, fuck it.
Don't know, but I thought it was gonna be like Curry Man or something. But it's a Raven, just anything to get you to do that dance. That's what I mean.
And then plus same thing, I was also scared of watching anything involved Raven because my bombed so hard the last time we watched a Raven anything. So
did you? What were the jokes?
I brought it back up, so I deserve this, but I don't even remember the jokes. That's how good they were.
You don't have to remember them. You had them written down. Remember? Can you just find your notes?
Even that, like that's where you just throw them in the garbage. Just go. Whoop. Fallen.
Fatso Raven.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
the only one I remember.
What the fuck was I on?
Well, speaking of bodies, we got some delicious bodies here. And Samoa Joe versus Bryan Danielson. Who doggy? So they're first of all, before the match, they bring up the ranking system in this match, which is the only time they brought it up, because the previous show they brought it up every fucking match. Oh, everyone's fighting for the top 5 rankings to fight for the Ring of Honor title. This one they didn't bring it up really, unless I missed it, other than this match. So I guess whoever wins moves up in the rankings, I suppose. What are your thoughts, like in general, on rankings in wrestling?
It could work. I mean, AEW gave it a shot. It could work because, like, with AEW, they're kind of loose with it. Like, the numbers don't mean anything. It's the context of who you beat. So you can make it work. Like I like the sports-based aspect of wrestling because you still got to keep some kind of realism in it because we're still suspending our belief in wrestling. So we got to believe that these matches matter. It's like if someone wins, at least we are invested in it because we know that they're gonna be closer to a title shot or something. So it could work, but it's a slippery slope because it is scripted. Everybody knows it, so it's got to be executed really well. And like Ring of Honor had a good. They had it going pretty well. Like it was straight to the point. Stay in the top 5, you're eligible for a title match. You're out of the top 5, then you gotta get your ass in there. It wrote itself, made sense, but it could work.
Yeah, for sure. And apparently you can go on their website and see what the rankings were, which is fun. So Danielson versus Joe, it's exactly what you would expect. It's just 2 guys kicking the shit out of each other for however long it was, 15 minutes or so. I mean, anything in particular stick out to you in this match?
First of all, commentary tried to ruin it for me because they were still trying to put over the infamous Riot.
The infamous Riot, yeah.
Yeah, they just kept saying, I can't believe it happened. I can't believe it happened. We're not going to talk about it anymore. It's 2 matches away. 2 matches ago it happened. God damn it. But no, it's like, I don't know what to say. This match was just awesome. Like, same thing what you were saying. The striking battle, like, if anyone watches Pro Wrestling Noah, this was like a Pro Wrestling Noah slap battle. Like they're just open palms slapping the living daylights to show, and they were sprinkled. It didn't get like repetitive. They sprinkled in great wrestling in the middle of it, so it was just so awesome. And then like same thing. Like I had one little nitpick. Like I don't know if this here. Maybe you share this with me. It bugs me when a guy who's like just as small as he is compared to Samoa Joe be able to drop toe hold somebody like Samoa Joe. You see what I'm saying? If Samoa
Well,
Joe's running at you and you're just like kind of like tripping with your legs, like
Right.
it's like the guy that much bigger.
But Joe is running, so he has that momentum. So it's kind of his weight working against him.
Fine, I'll give them that, but it just bugged me when I saw it because it just felt like
If we're gonna
Joe's-
sit here and
yeah.
nitpick the physics of pro wrestling,
Yeah.
like wait, this is a
That's
10-hour
true.
podcast.
Yeah, I know it's like an Irish whip, really.
I was literally about to say that.
Irish, yeah. So okay, fine. Like once again, I just couldn't help myself. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm nitpicking again.
Right.
But
It's
but
okay.
in between that, like it was just so good. Like I can't think of one thing that really got me like going, but like I'm trying to think. Maybe you could you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
interrupt me for now, and I'll think.
I
of
mean, you
something,
have
but-
like the Samoa Joe classics. Like, we watched recently the match he had with Rampage back in
Yeah.
like 2014.
Yeah.
And he was doing like the classic Samoa Joe stuff in that match. But then you watch it here in 2003. It's like, wow, it's like amplified by like double like the impacts. Cause like you would see like Joe, it's like when Bryan runs at Joe in the corner and Joe does the slam with one arm.
Yeah.
He does that all the time,
That's-
like to
yeah.
this day.
Mhm.
But he did it with such like he like drove him through the mat when he did it. Like it was brutal.
Mhm.
And he's just like Joe stretching Bryan throughout the entire match with the STFs and the single leg crabs, and which again it's stuff he would do all throughout his career, but it was
Yeah.
just like a element of intensity to it. Like it was like actually trying to break him in half. It was crazy. And that plus all the stiff strikes, the slaps, the chops, the kicks, the face wash in the corner, like
Yes.
it's just brutal. There's one point where Joe, he like roundhouse kicks the shit out of Bryan's chest, and Bryan, he like goes face down.
That was
and
the
the
8
ref-
count, right?
Yeah. So Joe's like, count him, he's out, which is a beautiful layer that I enjoyed. He's like, he's out, he ain't getting up. I'm not even gonna bother pinning him. But
Loved it.
Bryan gets up, but he gets up and he immediately gets Muay Thai kneed and striked by Joe. You have that classic Samoa Joe powerbomb into a Boston Crab STF combination. Then ultimately Joe hits a powerbomb onto Bryan, another one, but he goes to pick him up again. But then this time Bryan rolls him up into a small package for the win. So I guess there's the story here. So you have Joe obviously is a monster. That's like the main takeaway here. But you have the brute force of Samoa Joe versus the technique of Bryan Danielson. And in this case, the technique outdid the power. So yeah, Bryan gets the win. And they had a match at the last show too where Samoa Joe won. So now they're 1-1, and I assume there'll be a rubber match at some point. So yeah, good shit. Good shit.
I don't know about you, but just to spoil it, it was my favorite match of the night by far. Like
Yeah.
it was. I mean, and judging from the match after that, it's saying a lot. You know?
Right.
Like so, I love this match, and like I was just about to say like there's this one part that that popped me big, was like really popped me like boner wise. There's one part where okay, Samoa Joe does his 6 suplex, right? I forget which suplex it was, but Bryan Danielson kicks out of it, no sells it, and just gets up and slaps him across the face.
Yeah.
Like that, and I was like, good lord, like that one like got to me. And then like after that, like it was maybe like couple sequences later, like Samoa Joe starts throwing these Kawada kicks, just kicking like Bryan Danielson in the forehead over and over again. Hits a snapmare, chops Bryan Danielson in the back. You know that shit had to hurt, right? Soccer kicks him right after that, and like I think that's the soccer kick that took Bryan Danielson down for the 8 count. But that
Right.
Joe's a big combo guy. You know, he'll hit move after move after move, and like it's just you can't help but be like, oh, and like it just you just suck the crowd in, and they did it like periodically throughout the match, and like same thing. They told a great story where it's like the big guy is getting heat on the little guy and just brutalizing Bryan Danielson, and then Bryan Danielson just hits that comeback, and you can't help but be behind him because he's naturally you want the underdog to come back, and then great timing. And then the roll-up worked for this match. Like, in a sense, I couldn't think of any other way to finish this match, you know?
No, yeah. It made sense for sure. Because you had the brutality, but then you have... it's a sport, after all. At least that's what they're portraying here. And that technique by Danielson, he's able to counter at the perfect time and just to kind of sneak. It's kind of a fluky win, but it was a win nonetheless. So
Yes.
it moves up in the rankings, which is what's important, gang. But yeah, you said that was your match of the night, and I definitely support that. Although personally, I would probably put mine at the next match. It's for the #1 contendership for the Ring of Honor Championship. It's a 3-way match. It is Low Key versus AJ Styles versus Paul London. Man, this is really, I mean, this is crazy. This match was slap city, dude.
Yeah.
But before the match, Xavier, the Ring of Honor champion, he comes out before the match. He gets because he always gets AC Slater chants because he looks like him. But finally, he has a rebuttal, so the crowd chants AC Slater at him, and then Xavier says, "Yeah, all champion." Or a champion. What did he say? Do you
All
remember?
champion.
All champion.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay, I guess. But then Xavier, he cuts a promo. And then I guess there's a lot of internet backlash on Xavier being Ring of Honor champion because he is very like sports entertainery. He almost is kind of like sticks out like a sore thumb in Ring of Honor. Yeah. But but that's the idea because he's kind of almost in a way holding the championship hostage. And that's what the prophecy, because he's also a part of the prophecy. So it all kind of ties into that. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it really makes you want to see him lose, which plays into the match that happens after this because he will also be defending the title on this show as well. So right after this match. So good heat on Xavier before the match. But the match gets underway. And right away, Low Key goes for like a drop kick to the outside, and he just snaps the bottom rope, which I don't remember if they fixed that or what. I like forgot about it, but they worked around it for sure.
I think it just kind of, I don't. They must have fixed it without us noticing because it's like you don't see anybody really working on it, but it didn't really affect anything throughout the match. Yeah,
because I made note of it, and I read it and I'm like, oh shit, he did break the rope because I didn't notice it throughout the rest of the show. And they didn't like snap it in half. They like loosened it, the turnbuckles, and they probably just tightened something and fixed it. But that just shows the intensity of this match because like right away, I mean the match starts off really quick. The intensity is at like a max, like right from the jump. It feels like a real fight. This match, and that was like my main takeaway is like because you compare like these kind of matches to what we see today.
Yeah.
This match was great, and one thing I noticed is that nobody was kicking out of anybody's finisher in this match. Like it's a 3-way. Mm-hmm. So if somebody hits a big move, you have that third person always there to break it up. Yes. So that's that third person element, and it just made everything make sense. It tied everything together really well. And the selling in this match as well was amazing, I thought, because like I said, it felt like a fight. So you have all these crazy spots that happen throughout the match, and then there's points where like everybody is just laid out. Like they're like when they hit a move, it feels like it's out of desperation. It feels like they're drained. And it's like when they hit the move, it takes them a while to capitalize on it. So just really awesome intensity throughout this match, basically, is what I took away from this. But yeah, there's a lot of spots that happened in this match. Any in particular stick out to you?
There's this one spot. It was like a big bump by Paul London. I'm trying to remember how it went, but it was sort of like, okay, Paul London was he was outside the ring and he's trying to skin the cat inside the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then like as he's trying to skin a cat inside the ring, I think like AJ grabs his legs and, like while he's inside the ring. I think that's how it worked.
Yes.
And then Low Key just kicks London from the outside, or no, from the
inside.
Yeah, from the inside he kicks. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, please.
No, sorry. So
it was such an awesome spot, but
yeah, because I made note of it too. Because Paul London, like you said, he tried to skin the cat, so he's hanging on the ropes. AJ is on the outside with his feet, trying to pull him out, and then Low Key kicks him in the back from the inside of the ring. And then when he kicks him, AJ yanks Paul London's ankles, and Paul London just goes splat on the floor. It was just like, man, crazy.
Oh, I love that. It was such a sick bump, and I just remember just screaming when I saw that. I was like, God Lord, these guys are nuts. Here's the one note that I thought was fucking hilarious, but like, okay, so there's like to go back to what you were saying, after the big moves, like, you know, they did a great job of breaking up, like putting over the big moves by having someone break up the pin. There's this one part where Low Key couldn't help himself. Instead of breaking up the pin, like, you know, just diving and selling the desperation, he does a Mongolian chop instead. He goes like, yeah. Like that, right? So in my head, I'm saying 1, 2, and if he's still like doing a Mongolian chop, still swinging his arms around, 3, and he just hits the guy before the like, you know, basically he's wasting his time flailing his hands in the air when you're trying to desperately.
No, it adds power. You got it's like a windmill.
I get it, but I just laugh my ass off. If one day he does it for way too long and the 3 count goes down before he finishes that fucking chop.
Oh, shucks.
And the ref's like, it's over. And he's still
What?
I was breaking it up. Sorry, but well, there was other another spot that I liked too was like, all right, Paul London's holding up low key, right? And then he's just holding low key up and like I guess like a heart attack sort of like position, you know what I'm trying to say? And then and then AJ Styles does a quebrada, does a moonsault into the ring, and then he as he's doing a quebrada holds on to low key and does a DDT.
Yep.
Yeah, and then like it's like spots like that. It was like there was like clever spots like they three great workers do some crazy shit like that, and then the you know what? There's one last spot. Do you remember this one? Where like it was towards the end of the match. Like AJ Styles is going to do a Styles Clash from the top rope, right? But instead of hitting the Styles Clash, low key sits up, and he does a Hurricane Rana onto AJ off the top rope. But as AJ is getting flipped off the top rope, Paul London catches him midair, hits him with a powerbomb into a cover, and then like, you know, of course it's a huge spot, and Loki breaks up the 2 count just in time. Doesn't Mongolian chops it, he just dives in there and hits it, and then like, you know, and it was such a good.
That was probably the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah,
that move,
100%.
I would say.
Yep.
Because that was, I mean, I don't know if that had happened. Like, it was a spot that people did before then. That's the earliest that I've ever seen it in 2003. Because I remember, you know who also did that? It's kind of an obscure one. It was a triple threat match in WWE. It was CM Punk versus Miz versus John Morrison. And this is from like WWE ECW. It was on a pay-per-view. And I think it was like Morrison did the Rana onto Punk, and then Punk went into Miz, and Miz hit the powerbomb. That was the first time I ever saw it. And that was in like 2007 or something. So to see it here in 2003, I was like, man, that was really ahead of its time.
It's surreal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, I wouldn't say surreal, but like that kind of just remind me like that kind of the main event. I'll just say it right now. In the main event, like speaking of like ROH doing moves before anybody else, Quiet Storm.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm about to say.
Yep.
Quiet Storm hit a fucking Canadian destroyer. I'm like, so is he the originator? This dinky looking like kindergarten like looking motherfucker. I'm sorry, Quiet Storm watches this podcast.
Storm Cradle Driver, right?
I don't know, but
don't worry, we'll get into more Quiet Storm later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was fortunate enough to talk to Monster Mac a few episodes ago.
Yeah, I caught that. That's fucking cool. That was a good get. That's awesome.
No, yeah, that was a great time. But he did bring that up. That Quiet Storm was the one that I don't know if he invented it, but he definitely was doing it before it was popular on TNA. So maybe we'll get that match one day. Quiet Storm versus Petey Williams to see who's the true Canadian destroyer.
If it happens in AEW though, you may have to take a few shots for each Canadian destroyer.
It's just 20 minutes of nothing but Canadian destroyers, which is, you know,
it'll be like a game of Rochambeau. You know, it's like he's like, all right, you get up now, and then now you take the Canadian destroyer. You're still good. All right, your turn.
Yeah. Throwing Adam Cole in there.
Oh my god, and he'd be like, every time someone kicks out of his Canadian destroyer. Every single time they kick out, but he's oh what? But I digress. But yeah, so basically, amazing match between all three of these guys. The finish was great too. So you have Low Key hits the Key Crusher onto AJ from the second rope. So he hits it, but Low Key is like too drained to capitalize. So you have AJ laid out after taking this Key Crusher. Paul London comes up from the top rope with a shooting star press onto AJ, and that gives him the win. So Paul London sneaks the win here. So he's but all these guys are drained. I mean, nothing really else we could say about this match. It was awesome. Yep, agreed.
Probably like of all the matches I've seen like throughout 2002 and so far in 2003, this might be the top. I mean, definitely top 3 for sure. But so you have this crazy ass match. I mean, it's probably like 20 minutes of just nonstop action, crazy bumps, and then commentary is really driving home the point where it's like, oh, Paul London, he's so tired. Man, if he were to have a match right now, he would have no chance, I bet. Good thing he gets a break after this, because I guess it was supposed to be the Scramble after this and then the ROH title match. But commentary's, oh, yeah, don't worry. Paul London's definitely going to get a breather after that match because he's very tired. After that long match, he needs a breather. He's tired. But then that damn Xavier takes his pants off to reveal his tights. So he's ready to fight now. So Xavier is like, the only way you get a chance at this title is if you fight me right now. Which, like, by the way, where does he get the authority to dictate that? But that's a whole other story. So I guess his commentary puts it over like the prophecy. They have all the titles, so they have all the power, which whatever. So the match, Allison Danger of the prophecy, who's out there with Xavier, she distracts Paul London, which allows Xavier to attack him from behind, and the match gets underway. So now Paul London has just been through this crazy match, and now he's immediately getting his title match against Xavier, and which I guess so the prophecy, right? So Daniels and Donovan Morgan are not there. Samoa Joe's no longer a part of it. So it's really just Xavier and Allison Danger. So I guess this is a way of giving Xavier that advantage, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
the match is kind of going underway. And then out comes Mickie James to attack Allison Danger because they've had beef throughout the past year or so because they're like the only women in Ring of Honor. So they've been fighting each other a lot. And then there's one point where Paul London, he's in the ring. He finally he's coming back after getting beat down by Xavier. He runs at Xavier, and Xavier just tosses him over the top rope, sending him through the table that's ringside, which made it like a brutal sound. It was like TVs and pots and pans on it. I don't know what they're on it, but it made a crash sound. So Xavier beats on him on the outside. They get back in the ring eventually. Paul London starts to fight back. London, he gives him Xavier like a world's strongest slam, kind of power slam, but he's like so drained that it's almost like he just falls and lays Xavier out. Paul London goes to the top rope. He's gonna go for the shooting star press, but Xavier rolls out before he can hit it. But London just hits a crossbody to the outside onto Xavier, which was crazy. Because it was so far away and he jumped so high. Like Paul London is able to make everything look awesome. Mm-hmm. Paul London rolls him into the ring. He hits a springboard moonsault for a 2 count. At some point, this is the part where Allison Danger just starts getting annihilated. So Allison Danger, she accidentally trips up Xavier in the ring.
Hey, that spot, by the way.
Oh yeah, I thought it was Paul London. Like,
yes.
Are you fast, Eddie?
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like Paul London clearly reversed that Irish whip, and like, I don't. She's like, to me, it just clearly looked like she's clearly looked at Xavier, waiting for him to come in, and just trips his ass. I was like, no, Elson, wrong.
It's only the beginning of the
Anyway,
timing issues in this match.
I'm sorry.
Because yeah, that's the tip of the iceberg as far as like the weird botchy kind of stuff. But London, he drop kicks Xavier to the outside, and London goes for a plancha over the top rope, but Xavier pulls Allison Danger in front of him, and London just goes crashing into Allison, takes her out, and then so Allison's like on the ground. Paul London's like checking on her to make sure she's okay. Then Xavier comes from out of frame to try to spear Paul London, but spears Allison Danger into the barricade, which it didn't even come close to Paul London, but it just gets destroyed. Allison Danger does.
So why bring out Mickie James if you're gonna have Allison Danger get her ass beat horribly anyway?
The Mickie James element, like I get you want to get her on the show, I guess,
Yeah,
but like it really didn't factor into the match at all. But yeah, so Xavier, he's all befuddled because he didn't mean to spear Allison Danger. London hits a moonsault off the barricade onto Xavier, throws him in the ring, hits his hammerlock DDT, which is like kind of his finisher at this point, but only gets a 2 count. Paul London goes for the shooting star press, hits it, makes the pin. 1, 2. Then Allison Danger pulls out Xavier. So a little late.
1,000.
Yeah.
2 1,000.
Yeah, so that was a little rough. But so Xavier gets pulled out. I don't know why it's not a DQ. But at this point, Mickie James comes back out and beats the shit out of Allison Danger again.
That's pretty cool.
Then Xavier hits the kiss your ex goodbye, followed by the 450 splash from the top rope. And then London kicks out, which is another huge reaction because it's like, oh man, this feels like definitely it's going to be the finish. But London kicks out, especially after the previous match London went through. It's crazy that he's still kicking out at this point. London actually rolls up Xavier into like a small package, which gets a close 2 count. And then Xavier, or no, he doesn't. No, yeah, he does, because London rolls up Xavier, and then Xavier reverses into a roll up of his own, holds the tights right in front of the referee for the win. So Xavier gets the win with a roll up, holding the tights. It was fun. I mean, the energy of this match, I feel like everybody wanted Paul London to win. Everyone was firmly behind Paul London. I feel like everybody thought this was his moment. So like the emotion into it, I thought was really good. A few hiccups along the way, but ultimately I thought it was pretty fun.
Like when Xavier dove onto, was it Xavier? No, when Paul London dove onto Alice in Danger,
yeah,
that added 2 Meltzer stars to my ranking to this match.
Yeah,
that shit was so funny to me. I was like, why? But like you hit the nail on the head on all those points, because I was gonna say the same thing. It was pretty botchy. This is where I wanted to give credit to the announcing team, because they actually helped me in this match, because like after Paul London got hit by that 450, even the announcers were like, they were just aggravated at this point. They're like, what an effort by Paul London. This is amazing. And then he kicked out of the 450, and like that added to my, to me thinking that this match is over, because even the commentary was like, this is over, screw this, and they were like, they sound legit mad, so I was like,
right.
So they helped me there, but like this match, I didn't want to like it because it's like Xavier match, but I did, because it was like just that drama, like that energy, like you said, with like the audience, because like you can't help but think that there's no way in hell that like that Paul London could still be doing anything, so it's like it created that sympathy that you just wanted London to just win that title, and then just to on top of it to have the heel win it with a roll up. He had to lose. I mean, he had to cheat to beat a guy who just went through one of the craziest 3-way matches you've seen of all time. So it was, I liked it.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where you don't want to admit that you liked it, but you like it. Like
you're a closet Xavier fan.
Like and like Backstreet Boys, and I like what's it, Jason Aldean and
Jason Aldean.
I'm trying. So next match was
is he still alive? I haven't heard Jason Aldean in a while.
I sure hope he is. Rest in piss.
I'm noticing there's a lot of fucking roll-ups in this show. So you had that one.
Yeah.
You had Joe and Bryan. You had CM versus CW. I mean, geez, roll-ups, more like ROH 1 year roll-up anniversary. Next match. So we got oh god. Actually, maybe we just don't talk about this one.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
All right, so GetCho Podcast. No, so
go ahead, dude. I
mean, I'm just gonna list what this match is, and people listening will understand the issue. So it's a 10-on-7 handicap scramble match. What's up, Charlie? You got problems?
Go. That's 10-on-7 right away. Why? It's like, oh shit.
It's funny because just to bring up Monster Mac again, because I like when I initially reached out to him, because we talked about Final Battle 02, and I was like, would you like to come on and talk about some old Ring of Honor? And he specifically said, yeah, everything outside of the 1 year anniversary show is good memories. So I was very excited to see this match. But so once again, 10-on-7 handicap scramble match. So we have on one team, Mafia and Monster Mac, the Hit Squad, Chris Devine, Quiet Storm, Mikey Whipwreck, Joel Maximo, Jose Maximo. Then they're facing Special K. Now, without looking at any notes, how many members of Special K can you name?
Are we trying this for real?
Yes.
Okay, let's fun with this. Okay, Hydra, Slim J, Deranged. Oh fucking shit! Damn, I should be able. Oh god, I could do this. I used to be able to do this. Hydra, Slim J, fuck it. I don't need. It's not even worth it, dude. I don't. I maybe on a good day, but Jody Fleisch.
There you go.
What's the name? Slugga. Brian XL.
There you go. 6.
That's it. I'm tapped out.
So we got Izzy.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Dixie.
Yep.
Wait, is Dixie? Yeah, Dixie.
Izzy and Dixie.
Angel Dust.
Yep.
Yayo.
Yep.
I think that's it, right? Yep. And
Yeah.
That's the 10.
I remember on a previous podcast, you and I were talking, and I was telling about like how much I love this group because they were just like fucking hilarious. So I don't know if you're, like, is this your first time seeing these guys or no?
No, I mean they've appeared on pretty much every show.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean they're. I don't know, man. I mean I guess that their gimmick, they do it well. I mean, well, do they?
Yeah.
Because they like they do drugs. They're like, I've done so many marijuanas, right? So, but and then you have Big Bad Slugga, the big dude. So it was quite. And you have Jay Lethal out there. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. That was a good one.
But yeah. So this match, and one thing about this match, I know we're talking a lot about the commentary on this show, but it was just funny how checked out commentary was in this match because they literally set the scene. They're like, look, this isn't gonna be there's not gonna be storytelling here. It's just gonna be a bunch of spots. Like that's word for word what they said basically. Yep. And there was a bunch of points in this match. It was like, oh, I guess we got some comedy in this match. Like somebody tickled Mafia. I was like, oh, there's some little comedy in this match. And then a lot of this match commentary was just like plugging future shows. They're like listing the cards for future shows. They were just listing off people that have appeared on previous Ring of Honor shows because it's the 1-year anniversary, so they're kind of recapping the previous year, and they literally list like everybody that's appeared in Ring of Honor in the past year. So they're not even like paying attention to this match, they're just kind of rambling. But
that's what I was getting at from the beginning. Like when I said that I really like commentary because I think it was this match that made me love commentary.
Yeah,
they were cracking up the fuck up the whole time, and that was the only way I was able to get through this match. Even though I kind of checked out, I think I was like probably like figuring out what to do the rest of my night after that because like they did, like you said, they buried the match right from the beginning, so I love that part. Like I like the little quips that are like, if you're looking for drugs, go to ringside because there's plenty of it. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean,
this match.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, it's 17 people in a match. Like, how is it going to be at all good? There were some fun spots in this. Yes. But there were also a lot of course, how could there not be timing issues and kind of, little hiccups along the way? But like, it's just a bad idea to have this match ultimately. You got like, I mean, what happens here? You have Mikey. Why is Mikey Whipwreck here? First of all,
the heel turn is my favorite part of this match.
Oh my god,
the heel turn. Like, why?
Why? Nobody. We have first of all.
What just happened?
So we have. To remind the audience, so earlier in the show, we saw fucking C.W. Anderson just destroy everybody. Now we have Mikey Whipwreck literally just taking out 7 people at once. Like with the so there's a point. So Mikey Whipwreck gets tagged in, right? Because he's on the babyface side. Crowd goes nuts. It's Mikey Whipwreck. I think he's a New York guy, right? A hometown guy.
Yeah.
So the crowd is all for it. And then at some point, Mikey Whipwreck, he just takes out one of his teammates. I forget who it was. And then he gives everybody on his team a stunner. Or what does he call it? The
whippersnapper.
Whippersnapper.
Yep.
Everybody, like one by one. It's like it's a fucking karate movie. Everyone's like attacking them one by one, and they're all getting stunners by Mikey fucking Whipwreck in 2003. So like, and then Mikey I think he leaves after this. Is like, so coming out of the show, the 2 monsters in Ring of Honor are C.W. Anderson and Mikey Whipwreck. So I'm like, okay. But I mean, what other spots here? You have DHS throwing guys around, which is probably the bright spots of the match. We're seeing Mac and Mafia just shit on these guys.
They did like an over the head belly suplex that nearly killed Deranged into the turnbuckle.
Yes,
that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. This is funny watching the beginning. Everyone's on the apron, and it's like, okay, we're tagging each other, right? Because this is gonna carry through the entire match. But of course, it's a scramble match, so it breaks down eventually, Everyone's fighting. There's one point where like nobody's even in the ring. Everybody's just fighting around the ring. And commentary is even like, if there's like at all any like pause in the action, commentary is like, there's 96 guys out there. How is there nothing going on right now? It's further burying this match. But yeah, at some point, everyone's just taking turns doing dives to the outside. There's two different Tree of Woe spots where somebody will be in the Tree of Woe in the corner, and everybody will take turns doing drop kicks. I think both baby faces and heels do this. Mafia hits a sick cannonball on one of the guys. What's happening here? So a Slugger. So Slugger gets in. Trinity, by the way, is with the baby faces. She's with Special or SAT. Trinity gets in the ring at some point, but Slugger just gives her a body bag, which is the slam that he does. I think it's the only thing he did in this match. Now that I'm thinking about it, he just kicks the shit out of Trinity.
Way to collect a paycheck.
I guess, yeah, worth it. Special K at some point they beat down on Quiet Storm. Again, they do the drop kicks in the corner one by one. Quiet Storm, like you mentioned, busted out the Canadian Destroyer, which is funny because like all this chaos is going on and it almost didn't even get a reaction because it's like, oh man.
That's true.
It's like the crowd didn't even notice it. What'd you think about the Tower of Doom spot?
Whoa, that was just an injury waiting to happen. I was laughing. I had to watch this one because I had to see if they already hit this. It's like, this is the stupidest move in the history of fucking move. Like, if you see a Tower of Doom with 3 people or 5 people, but you got it with like 17, it's like, what the
Dude.
Shit? Go ahead, I'll let you.
No, it's just like, this is one of those things you just gotta embrace the stupidity of it. You can't at all be watching this like, oh, is this a real fight? It's like, oh, it's fun. But like you said, it's 17 people. You got people on the corner, and then you got people lining up on each of the ropes on either side of it, and then it's like a big one tower. Which credit to them, it's got to be hard as hell to organize, but it looked as good as I feel like it could have.
Yes, true.
But in the match, there's like a period like in the middle where it's just kind of mindless, like nothing's really happening. But then everyone pretty much hits their finishers towards the end. You got Jody Fleisch hitting his 720 springboard DDT onto somebody.
Fucking amazing.
Awesome. You got Joel Maximo hitting rolling pile drivers, kind of similar to what Jay Briscoe did earlier. Mafia hits this crazy ass muscle buster, but he sits straight down, so the guy just goes neck first into his shoulders. You got a springboard 450 by Izzy, a Rikishi driver by Monster Mac. SAT hits the Spanish fly onto Izzy, and they make the pin, but the pin gets broken up. But ultimately, Mafia hits a burning hammer off the second rope onto Deranged, and that gives them the win. So the 7 beats the 10 here. Thoughts?
Upset, but
bracket buster. But with you like listing every single spot, like, you know, like the rolling pile drivers and like it sounded like a one-on-one match in AEW. Yeah, it really did.
Another kick out!
Unbelievable!
Fuck you, Excalibur. This match was like, I couldn't bear watching it because it was just too much. You know, I was like, it's still going on. When is this match gonna end? I can't take it anymore. But like, once again, like, commentary, they were great at it. Like, they were flat out said, why is anyone tagging in this match? Just jump in.
Yeah,
just run into the match. Stop tagging in. They were saying it, not me. And like, and like, there's a part of this match too that I wanted to bring up. Was like, I don't know if you saw this, but anytime the ref would circle the ring as 2 guys are going at it, Special K kept taking swipes at the refs. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh,
they kept trying to punch the ref the whole fucking beginning of the match.
Anybody that moves.
Exactly. Why are they taking swings at the ref? Like, what is going on here? So it's like,
well, they're drug addicts, Charles.
Yeah, that's
you understand.
True.
They don't know who they're fighting.
Like, this match, look, I'll give them credit. Some of the spots were amazing. Mm-hmm. And like, there's actually some people in this match I came out wanting to see. Well, actually, like Ring of Honor does wind up highlighting Jody Fleisch more. You know, he's based out of UK.
Yeah.
Like, so you'll see more of him later on, and like, of course, obviously, like Jay Lethal starts becoming a thing soon, and like Slim J is actually a guy that I liked a lot. Like I think they mentioned he was part of NWA Wildside, but like he's like a gift machine. If you just look him up and all the crazy moves he's done, Slim J was actually pretty good. So
Yeah.
some of these guys were really talented people, and then it showed in this match. You got these like insane dives, and these guys obviously worked really hard, and they knew they were in a main event spot, and they
Yeah.
knew the pressure of having 17 people. You got to do something wild to stand out. So they were
Right.
killing each other, but still, to me, unforgivable. I couldn't watch it. The burning hammer from the top rope though. I popped. I was sitting there like, even like Kobashi's like rolling in his grave and he's still alive. So you know what I mean? But, you know,
Yeah. This is There were some good parts of this match. You had the weird Mikey Whipwreck heel turn in the middle of it, which is a little unnecessary. But he got like, I think it was deranged at the beginning. He like takes his shirt off and he's having like a test of strength with Mafia. Like there's
that was pretty funny.
elements of charisma from these guys that I did enjoy too. But ultimately, I mean, they set themselves up for you can't really have a cohesive match with 17 people. But I guess it's just meant to be like, let's just see how ridiculous we can get, and then once we reach that limit, we'll stop doing it. I think this is that limit, hopefully at least. It's just crazy looking at all the names in this match, and it's fucking Hydro that ends up being like the biggest name out of this. He's like a Mount Rushmore guy in Ring of Honor at this point. So like, but yeah, so that happened, I guess. But yeah, and then you have afterwards, there's some promos. Yeah, the Daniels promo, which you talked about, the Punk and Raven stuff. Then the show comes to a close. There's a cake that has a happy 1 year anniversary on it, and I think it's Rob Feinstein gets a cake to the face, and then and then that Bob's your uncle. That's it. So any other so that brings a 1 year anniversary to a close. Any other thoughts that we didn't cover, or overall thoughts?
How could you not cover? It's just so much shit that happened,
There's
4 hours later.
I mean, 30 minutes is probably dedicated to flashbacks from the previous show. So
to be fair, but no, it was actually a really good event. Like highlighted by must watch for me is Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe. That three-way of AJ, London, Low-Key. How can you not want to see that? And then all the assholery on the side was just like, even though it was crazy, like the Riot was worth watching too. If you have any motion sickness issues, do not watch it because you will be throwing up. Well, then that, like, I'm glad, like, I saw this event before, but it was like so long ago. So like it was like watching it the first time again. So it was great, and like I want to thank you for asking me to watch it and review this with you because it's a good time, man. It's a good time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, it had a lot of good matches. We shit on that Scramble match, but there's like 3 or 4 other like match of the year candidates on this show. So like
Jay versus Mark, go out of your way, watch that one
for sure. That's on YouTube for free too, by the way. So
there you go.
But yeah, and then like coupled with just the new arena. The Elks Lodge, it had a great feel to it. So
the Queens are back in Queens, baby. Do it. Fucking God, hell. There you go. Yes.
That's all I wanted. I don't have like a physical soundboard. I have to do clicks and clacks to get there. But if you listeners, if you enjoy that kind of comedy, you can check out the GetCho Podcast, which allegedly is returning. I mean, this will be out in a few weeks, so maybe you would already be back by now. But why don't you let everybody know where they can find you and the GetCho boys and listen to you guys?
You can find us on GetCho Podcast. We're at GetCho Podcast on Twitter. I am Charlie Be Bad on Twitter. I don't know why, but that's my name as a Johnny Be Bad. Anybody knows Johnny Be Bad as a tribute to him? He was like one of those guys who went all out for his gimmick. So you gotta respect that. So that's why I'm all about that. Charlie Be Bad.
That's where you are in my phone, by the way. Charlie Be Bad.
Fuck, I really need to change that. But
nope.
If you guys can remember that, that's where I'm at. And the same thing though. Yeah, GetCho Podcast is coming back. I hope you guys enjoy it. Like, and as the time that you guys listen to us, we would have been back by then, and it was still doing our silly shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just right from our tweets, we like having fun. That's what wrestling should be, fun.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming back on. Talk about some Ring of Honor.
Gotcha.
It's always a pleasure. Any final thoughts to leave the audience with?
I also have a comedy show, so if you ever want to just like chuckle just a little bit, you could always find. No, I don't. Like,
What's your favorite joke? Like a knock joke or anything?
what's I got a good dirty joke.
Yeah.
A white horse fell in the mud.
Why's that? Oh, because the
Ring of Honor. This is the spot right here. I got no good jokes. I'm really sorry. I can't you can't put me on the spot like that. I got nothing. Please cut out the end of this.
Once again, thank you to Charlie from the GetCho Podcast for joining me once again. Always a hilarious time with Charlie. Loved having him on. Always love having him on. Go check out the GetCho Podcast. Like I said, wherever you listen to podcasts, all their info in the description. Apronbump.com for all my full episodes. You can find my merch. You can find my my YouTubes there, all my social medias. My Omegle is up there. Everything you need for the Apron Bump is right there. So check that out. And yeah, that's about all Daddy has for you today. What do you guys think about my new background, huh? I'm in a new house. So I'm working on. I got a little Terramana on the. It's very much a work in progress. But got some books that I allegedly read. Got some DVDs that I watched maybe 15 years ago because I haven't bought a fucking DVD since 2008. But yeah, we're working on it. I gotta put my kendo sticks up there, put them up my ass, and then we're ready. We're rolling. So, but anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Big smooches all around. Let me tickle your chin there. I'm hard.
Yeah.
The hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing I guess. Let's get it started. It's the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and